Well, I shouldn't have had to stop what I was in the middle of and deal with this, but deal with it I must. So these Miltoniopsis, the first job is they're getting about a half-hour soak in a litre of that. That's the only decent fungicide I've got that's systemic. That should get some of that systemic fungicide into the base of the plants in what little roots there are, and also that should deal with any residual effects of what was some rot around the base. That should stop that in its tracks as well, hopefully. Most of it was cut off, so I don't really need to worry quite so much about that. After they've had their good soak, I'll get them out in the grow room, and they can then, the whole plant can then be sprayed with this is a ready mixed version, but I'm running low on this to be able to mix up enough for a sprayer, so I thought, well, I just as well use the stuff that's ready mixed up, although I got a feeling that is a little bit weaker. But that'll get some into the leaves, which will help with getting that throughout the whole plant. That will be treatment one. It will have to be done again in 10 to 14 days time without forgetting, and then I'm afraid, sad though it is, and it kills me to have to do this, the blooms are going to have to come off, because these plants are in a very weakened state. Even though they don't look like it, the plants look good, but without a decent root system underneath them, they're going to struggle to maintain that look about them and progress, which is the objective. So I'll get them potted up after they've all had their treatment and dried off so that I can handle them, and we'll see where we go from there. And then it'll be a matter of keeping them in low light in my coolest place with plenty of airflow around them, and see if they will grow some roots. My other Miltoniopsis I've got grow roots from even mature bulbs at times. I mean, their main root production is on the new growths, obviously, but they do push out roots now and again from other places, so that's all I can hope for, really. But I really am going to hate cutting all those blooms off. There's no point standing them in water, they don't last. I've tried that before once, a long time ago. You're lucky to get a couple of days out of them. They just wilt really quickly. But it's going to have to be done. Their chance of recovery is to put all their efforts into producing some new growths and some roots. Otherwise they're just not going to make it. It's hard enough trying to recover Miltoniopsis from one point of stress, let alone when there's several. If these weren't infected plants, they would be a little easier to recover, but they are, so I've got to deal with it. So that's problem number one, and also, depending on how bad that's got into the plants, that will inhibit their progress. It will slow them right down, and it will take a while for them to start growing clean again. I know I can do that. I've done it with enough Oncidium types in the past, and they do grow clean, you know, and then precautionary repeat treatments twice a year, which is all I do, you know, should sort them out. But they've got to start growing first, and they're not in a very fit state to do that. You know, I mean, when you've got something that looks like that, there's not a huge amount of hope, but we can only try. So that's what will happen. People will be interested in progress reports, I'm sure, and there will be some. There will be possibly some pieces going out under the hedge, and possibly some just sitting there doing nothing for a considerable amount of time, and then hopefully there'll be some progress down the line. But yeah, I was proud as punch when I'd got these plants, and to have to now take the blooms off and deal with them in this way is, you know, it's a bit upsetting, quite honestly. These weren't cheap plants. And like I say, when you buy a plant, you know, at a show from a nursery, there's only so much investigations you can do. If I'd been able to take these plants out of their pots, I may well have put them back on the shelf and said, you can keep those, even though it wasn't the nursery I bought them from's fault. I'm holding no grudges against those individuals. They were bought in good faith to sell on quickly, knowing that a couple of large shows were coming up, like our 60th anniversary, followed by the RHS show in London. and I doubt if they've got many left now. So their business purpose was to buy those in and sell them on fast. It's not something that Burnham's would normally have around in any volume. They do have a few now and again, but yeah, the fact that they came from somewhere a bit special, they should have been good plants, and they're just not. I've got a feeling there might be a letter of complaint heading in that direction for actually putting these out on the market, because where they actually came from, they must have known what state they were in, and they probably just thought, we need to get rid of these quick. So, you know, sell them en masse, get rid of the whole lot in one go, and let some other poor suckers try and deal with them. Well, one of those is me. And deal with them I will try, and we'll see where we get. But, you know, this will be it. This will be the last look at these blooms, possibly for a year or more. And it's such a shame. They, you know, these were such beauties, absolute beauties. But for the sake of the plants, the blooms are going to have to go, and that includes poor buds that haven't even had a chance to burst into life yet. And we'll see where we go from there. That's all I can say really, is this was unexpected. I wasn't expecting brilliant root systems. Well, that's what I got, worse than I expected, but I certainly weren't expecting them to be infected as well, you know, and the combination of those two really doesn't hold out a lot of hope. But I'll do my best, and I'll let you know how I get on. But it'll be slow progress. It's going to be slow progress. It's bound to be. These are not going to rocket off like good uns, having got in decent media. That's only half the battle. This is the other half, sorting this out. We'll see how we do. See you next time.